Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, hope you're well. Going to be looking at the big three here for a midday update with all the action. I'm also going to start putting this video of me in the videos more often. I usually only do it live, but gotten a couple messages from people that do not speak English as their first language, and they do get help from seeing my lips while I'm talking, so I can bite the bullet and put some clothes on. I do like to trade naked, but learning's more important. So, checking in on Bitcoin, we're going to start it off. So Bitcoin still has not broken bullish on the daily time frame, and that's definitely worth noting. We have the equilibrium pattern still in play. The odds of a bull break right now are more likely than not. This is the kind of scenario in the last 2 days where it's been a little bit tricky, and we'll go over a lot of stuff here, including when the alerts were going out and the different signals we got from that. But more importantly, I'm talking about correlations, and I'm talking about really this is a scenario where the trade didn't really come to us. I had to go get this trade, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So Bitcoin, we have our high, low, lower high, higher low. As long as we are under 9,512, it's still a lower high on this daily time frame. But we are currently forming a bull flag on the 15-minute time frame with very healthy consolidation, which indicates that it's more likely than not that the bulls are going to see a break. And we also increase the odds of a potential bull break because Ethereum and Litecoin have already broken their patterns bullish on the daily time frame as well. And Ethereum breaking bullish early was one of my initial indications saying, okay, the psychology of the market space just shifted more bullish. Ethereum's breaking out. It's the lead bull. It's doing it without any help from Bitcoin at this point. And we're going to be looking for that sentiment to carry over into the perception of all the traders to be looking for bull breaks everywhere else. So this is the kind of scenario where RSI levels can get more extended on the short term, where we're watching the algos and the bots buying, pushing these RSI levels to overbought conditions. So again, like I said, it wasn't a picture perfect equilibrium break. I would have rather seen a lower high and a tighter range, but we don't always get what we want. And we had to recognize some clues. So the first clue, let's look at Ethereum first, because that's when the breakout started. Ethereum on the daily time frame is just perfect. We knew it was going to break first because it was the closest to breaking bullish, and we just got really significant follow through. Look at the daily volume already increasing, and we still have a long way to go before this candlestick closes. So bulls in full control. The next resistance is up at 749, and we are closing in on that level, and we actually broke it already. So the next level is really 800 psychological. Again, the bull's in full control. So when did the bull break on Ethereum occur? It really got into gear when this volume started pouring in, and the break of, let's see, the 4-hour time frame had a lower high, and it was a bull flag right here with a break of 684 as the first signal. The secondary signal was a break of 696.71, which was the daily lower high, and then the top of the bull move, 711, was yet another break. And we've had another inside bar. So first we had a 4-hour inside bar break bullish at 681. We had a 4-hour bar break bullish at 722.67. And you look at the hourly chart, we had a really nice hourly equilibrium overnight where we had our high, low, lower high, higher low, and then a clear bull break for continuation. And here are the bulls not done just yet. I'm personally currently in Ethereum and Litecoin because their correlations compared to Bitcoin favor the bulls. So last night, I did not make an entry in Ethereum. By the time I got to my computer and saw what was going on, we were over 700. We were a little bit too extended. I didn't want to chase that move, but I watched it run up from 710 to 727, and just that's good FOMO practice to be able to stare at that and not react to it and say, nope, didn't get the entry I wanted. I'm going to patiently wait. There's opportunity in Litecoin and Bitcoin if this is the bull break. So I entered the bull break of Ethereum this morning with a stop buy order when the lower high broke of 726. So I was triggered in and only set that order. Again, last night I didn't get a whole lot of deep sound sleep. I was waking up every 2 hours, adjusting my game plan, which is what we have to do when the environment is changing and when it's occurring when we're supposed to be sleeping. So I woke up, I saw the equilibrium very clear. I set my stop buy knowing that I would wake up for the morning shortly after the break if it did occur. And that was the case. I have scaled out a small amount of Ethereum and Litecoin to lock in that profit, but I'm looking for a longer term move because what I'm holding out for now is for Bitcoin to break 95.12. And I want to be holding Ethereum and Litecoin until Bitcoin breaks 95.12 and gets some follow through, because I am anticipating the correlation to continue to push these names higher as long as the Bitcoin bulls stay in control. So I'm looking up at 754 on Ethereum, and I'm looking for a break of into the 760s if we do get continuation. The only red flag for me will be if we break the hourly higher low pattern. We just had an hourly inside bar bull break. Currently, if 734 breaks, that's the first red flag for consolidation. But we look at Bitcoin on the hourly chart, and it's just extremely healthy. We could pull back and bounce off these exponential supports and still be really healthy. So I have no red flags on Bitcoin, even if we consolidate for the rest of today. As long as it's healthy, as long as there's no increasing bear volume, I'm very comfortable in all of my positions right now. So I exited a little bit of Ethereum in the upper 750s. And again, I'm now holding the rest of my position for a more longer term play because this pattern is on the daily time frame. If it's an hourly pattern we're looking for, I'm going to be looking to take profit a lot sooner than a daily pattern. So if I'm looking for the break on the daily pattern, I want to let the bulls run a little bit. And again, specifically because Bitcoin has not broken bullish yet, there's definitely still some gas left in the tanks due to correlations. So there was a time last night, when I was watching Ethereum, just staring at the order books, watching what was going on. It was very clear that it almost looked like the program for the algos was buy Ethereum as long as Bitcoin is not going down. Because there were multiple times where I saw Bitcoin just stuck between a 30 coin bid and a 30 coin ask on GDAX and just sitting there, not moving a penny. And while that was happening, Ethereum kept going bullish. So it seemed like if Bitcoin's going sideways or up, Ethereum bots and algos are buying. And if it consolidates, then we look for it to consolidate there as well. But it definitely favored bulls without a doubt. And we obviously see that with the correlation now. Also recognized a correlation with Litecoin this morning that had me get into Litecoin. I actually got into Litecoin initially last night. Very small position. That was just my way to get over my FOMO. I said, all right, I'll get a piece of Litecoin. If we do see these bulls follow Ethereum, I'll have a piece of the action. I'll be making some profit. So then I added to that this morning, but it was the daily time frame. Look at the bull break. It already occurred on Litecoin. So I could recognize this morning that the bull break on Litecoin is very likely to occur before Bitcoin, and it happened at 156.39, and now we're finally seeing the bull show up after being the laggard for so long. And I could recognize the bull volume on the hourly time frame just really pouring in on the extreme move to the upside. And that was another reason that I chose Litecoin, recognizing, again, I didn't even look at LTC, BTC chart or anything. It was just watching order books, watching the 5-minute time frames, and comparing, just constantly comparing. And even just now, I saw Ethereum broke the correlation with Bitcoin and got a little bit more bearish on this 5-minute consolidation. And I just compare, how did Bitcoin consolidate? Pretty bull flag, sideways trading, slight downward trend, but more sideways. But look at Ethereum on the 5-minute. We clearly consolidated harder on Ethereum, obviously because we ran harder, but that showed me a shift in the correlation. Even though it only lasted 45 minutes, it showed me that we were consolidating more significantly on Ethereum compared to Bitcoin. So everything that I'm talking about right now is definitely a more advanced signals to be recognizing on these entries. And again, it comes from watching constantly, waking up every 2 hours, watching the order books, watching how they're correlating to each other, watching what the bots are doing. Another reason I had a lot of confidence for entering Ethereum and Litecoin this morning, not only because Litecoin broke bullish and because Ethereum broke bullish, but Bitcoin started seeing bots buying on GDAX. It was a small amount. It was only 0.0018, but it happened every 2 seconds. And what that does is it shifts the momentum on the order book, where normally if we see a bull move and then the bids don't immediately go up to back that bull move up, we come right back down again. But if you're constantly buying a fractional amount, you're doing a couple of things. You're keeping the bid support there. You're knocking out the lowest asks of resistance that are very small orders, and you're shifting the algo momentum, the bots momentum. So oftentimes I'll see bots throw up a 10 or a 20 BTC ask, and as soon as they start getting bought into, they recognize that and they instantly decrease the amount of Bitcoin on the ask. So if you have a bot that's constantly buying 0.001 every 2 seconds, it's keeping the sell bots on their heels to a degree, and it's keeping that momentum in favor of the bull. So you always want to be seeing bull bot buying. Say that 28,000 times fast. And that definitely gave me confidence as well. So it was a ton of little pieces of the puzzle. I ignored RSI levels to a certain degree. And the reason for that is knowing the psychology of where we stand right now, knowing that everybody's watching the same daily pattern. The bulls are not going to want to miss this pattern and this bull break. So anticipating some slightly more bullish momentum. Again, signal number 1, Ethereum breaking bullish last night and the significant follow through. Signal number 2, recognizing Litecoin with some slight bullish advantage to Bitcoin this morning. And signal number 3 was recognizing the bot on Bitcoin with that buying. And of course, recognizing the psychology of the entire environment and the fact that we've been waiting for this break for the last couple of days. All of those had me go get the trade. I market bought into all of my positions because I didn't want to sit around trying to, be pretty and that's the wrong way to phrase it, but trying to get fancy and, get bids and not pay the fees. I just said, all right, we're looking bullish. I'm getting these signs. Give me my coins right now, and let's see some follow through. So that's where we stand right now. My target's really going to be based on Bitcoin. If we break 95.12 and get follow through, I'll hold on to my positions and sell wherever we end up in Ethereum and Litecoin on that follow through for Bitcoin. So bull break right now on Ethereum 5-minute time frame, bull break on the hourly inside bar. We're coming up to test resistance. Bitcoin bulls are looking to confirm their bull flag on the 15-minute time frame to try and head up to test that daily resistance of 9,512. And Litecoin looking great. And at this point on Litecoin, because we're so extended on the hourly, I'm really just scaling out almost 10% of my order every dollar or two. And that's just to lock in some gains. But again, I'll reach a certain point where I have a core of coins that I'm going to hold for the Bitcoin break. So that's where we stand. Hourly higher lows need to maintain. Bull breaks have already occurred on Litecoin and Ethereum. They're in the clear. We still need that follow through on Bitcoin. That's the only thing from keeping this from being an extremely bullish environment. If Bitcoin breaks bullish, that is significant, and we will be watching for any red flags, but there are no red flags at this point. So the alerts that were going off on this move, let's look at Ethereum alerts first. Ethereum had an hourly inside bar that broke at 687. I pointed that out. That was the first alert that signaled a breakout. Then we had the 15-minute price shear, beautiful equilibrium pattern from this morning that broke bullish. We got a 15-minute abnormal volume alert right as it broke bullish. And then we started to get some overbought alerts. But another thing that I noted is I keep getting these 15-minute overbought alerts, and we're seeing no sign of slowdown. So what that has me do is completely disregard 15-minute overbought climax alerts. And what that also tells me is, wow, these bulls are really powerful if they're completely disregarding that signal. And when we're in bullish environments, we shift the criteria of the alerts, small amounts, but say the RSI triggers at 75 normally for overbought, we'll shift it to 78, knock it up a few points. So it has to be a little bit more bullish in an uptrend to trigger that overbought climax. But we got the 15-minute abnormal volume, and abnormal volume often signals the top of an uptrend or the bottom of a downtrend. So that signaled the temporary top. And of course, the 30-minute climax has a little bit more data and is a little bit more of a serious, more of a longer term alert. The more longer term the overbought climax alert, the more weight I will put into it. So it's very easy for me to disregard the 15-minute climax alerts, knowing that we're seeing a bit of a short squeeze and seeing this bullish environment. But definitely some signals that just help. Again, none of these signals alone are going to make me do anything. But what they do is they have me establishing my own game plan, and they just add more clues. So again, this entry that I made mostly this morning, a little bit last night, was all just small pieces of the puzzle, and putting myself out there in the sense saying, okay, this is more of a riskier entry because it's not as clear of an entry as I would hope for, but I'm still going to take that risk. And worst case scenario, I'll have a small loss and we'll reject and we'll form our lower high on the daily for Bitcoin, and I'll take it from there. But fortunately, we've gotten enough follow through that now it's a successful trade, and worst case scenario is profit. So the Bitcoin alerts that went out, Bitcoin 15-minute abnormal volume occurred right down at the low. Volume statement you'll hear in stocks more often, don't really hear it in crypto, but volume precedes price. So when you see volume and not a lot of price movement, you then look for the price movement to follow after that. And we had the volume alert, and then the big breakout occurred, and then 15-minute abnormal volume again. So signaling the low and the high of this move, all based on volume on these alerts. And again, abnormal volume at the low isn't going to make me rush and buy, but if I'm looking for the bulls to show up, I see abnormal volume, I'm going to start paying attention more and maybe get my order filled out and ready. So congrats to the bulls that got in on the Ethereum breakout. Congrats to the bulls that got in on the Litecoin breakout, recognizing that shift. Let's now look at LTC, BTC, just to see when that shift actually took place in momentum. And it started last night, and it followed through this morning in a big way. Big breakout finally. Daily time frame, shifting momentum, and the Litecoin bulls are back. We knew it would happen eventually. This is the first time I've traded Litecoin in over a month. So it definitely took a specific criteria for me, but I saw enough that I wanted a piece of Litecoin rather than Bitcoin, and that's where I am. So I appreciate you all watching. All the comments on the video, definitely great. I bit off more than I can chew. I've now got 350 comments to read, so I'll pick those free course winners later tonight when I can get to that, and I will email you individually, and we'll take it from there. But if you are not in a trade, let's go over that. If you're not in a trade at this point and you're trying to remain patient and you want to wait for the Litecoin or the Bitcoin break, that's fine. Being patient is better than rushing into something and being uncomfortable. But you have to understand at this point that we are getting a little bit extended to a degree. So although this is an hourly bull flag, I personally would be wanting to enter on consolidation in this scenario, assuming the break's going to happen. Again, because the environment, the psychological environment of cryptocurrency today is very bullish. Ethereum broke, Litecoin broke. These are all points that shift the momentum and shift the percentage chance that we break bullish on Bitcoin to favor the bulls. So entering on consolidation even before the break is a possibility as long as you have a stop loss level that you can be working with. And right now, I guarantee there's a good amount of stop losses below the low of consolidation at this point. But if you want to be picky and look at it as a longer term trade and look on the weekly time frames, then yeah, waiting for 9,512 to break is not too bad of an idea. But one thing that is always in the back of my mind that I am not losing sight of is the weekly chart, still in an equilibrium pattern. As long as 11,775 is resistance, we are in a weekly equilibrium pattern and anticipating the potential of a lower high. So even if we break the highest prices that we've seen on Bitcoin, I'm still a little bit cautious on these longer term timeframes because I know the most likely scenario for this pattern will be to form a lower high compared to 11,700 and need to consolidate for at least a week or two to establish a new support level. So that's in the back of my mind always, which is why, I'm taking a little bit of profit on the way up and noting that we could absolutely see a bull break, see a little bit of follow through, but it doesn't mean we're going to break 11,700 on this bull move. It keeps my longer term perspective in line. If I do keep looking at this chart and reminding myself, we've been bullish for a month, the odds of breaking 11,700 from here are not likely. So I want to be still protective of my bullish positions. It is not, game over, bulls win at this point. It is certainly favoring that, and the odds are shifting in that direction more and more with all the action we see. But I am still anticipating a weekly equilibrium on Bitcoin. So again, that does have me slightly cautious overall. So I appreciate you watching. Again, all the questions that were a part of the video yesterday, I can't possibly answer all of them, but I appreciate all the comments, and like I said, I will read them all. Today's Do Good Things, didn't have anything planned, just winged it, going live. One thing that I want to talk about, I keep talking about, it's important to not beat up on yourself for having fear, having FOMO, experiencing those emotions, experiencing anger, experiencing all this stuff. What the important part is recognizing it. That's where we progress. So I feel all these things. I felt FOMO last night sitting here watching Ethereum run, absolutely. But I recognized it. I said, okay, this is what I am feeling. This is why. And again, that's me zooming out of the situation and taking inventory of what's going on. Whenever I feel angry, which isn't rare or which isn't often, but I'll recognize, okay, my heart's pounding, my blood pressure, I can feel it rising, my face is getting hot. Just recognizing all the little details of what's going on and doing that, again, feeling fear and feeling FOMO, because you feel it, you shouldn't say, oh man, I'm a bad trader. You should say, these are normal emotions that everybody feels. I feel them at times as well. And it's just recognizing that and moving beyond them and not letting them dictate your actions. That's where we can progress in regards to emotional control. So thanks again. We'll be back tomorrow, and depending on what goes on tonight, we'll determine what time I decide to go and make this video. But bulls in full control, hourly higher lows, one resistance left to break for Bitcoin. We'll see if the bulls can pull that off tonight. And definitely overbought conditions, but as long as Bitcoin stays strong, we're going to see Ethereum and Litecoin very likely stay propped up as well. I appreciate you watching. As always, have a great day.